Now we'll talk about what is the requirement in the test when the light is turning from green to orange to red. If you're coming from here, you can see the green light, you slightly decrease your speed. So in case if the light turns from green to orange, and if you decide to stop, you can easily come to stop without doing sudden braking. How much to decrease the speed, it depends how far you are from the intersection and how fast you are coming. So you have to learn to adjust your speed. If it turns orange and if you have gone over the stop line, then you can go through that orange light, because there is a 4-second gap between the orange light and the red light. So after the orange light, you will get the red light. So if you have gone over the stop line, you can go through that intersection, because within 4 seconds you will be able to go through that intersection. And after you get red light, 4 seconds after, these side street cars will start coming out, so you will be out of their way. But make sure when you enter in the intersection at orange light, don't be too slow to get out, because sometimes when you get here, some of my learners are not looking at the lights, it turns red and they're still slowly going through the intersection. You can't be too slow, because once you get the red light, the intersecting street gets green light within 4 seconds. So you have to get out of their way. So it's better if when you're approaching green traffic light, expect a good change. Another thing, when you stop in the test at red light, you cannot come and stop in the pedestrian crossing area, because once you get the red light, the side street will get green light, and the side pedestrians will get green walk light, and sometimes you are blocking their way. If you have stopped in the pedestrian crossing area, then in the test they will fail you. So you have to keep the pedestrian crossing area clear if you are going to stop at red light. And you must stop behind the stop line within 1 meter from the stop line. If you're more than 1 meter away from the stop line, that is also fail item. And if your front of your car goes over the stop line and if you stop like this, then that is also fail item in the test. Sometimes you are approaching the red light and there is a car in front of you and in the right lane, and you come and stop car behind that car at red light. Now what happens is, once you get green light, the pedestrians also gets green walk light, so these pedestrians start walking across. And now the car in front of you wants to turn right, and you also want to turn right. Now the car in front of you enters the intersection a lot, and there is a room behind that car in the intersection, and he cannot turn because there are lots of cars coming from opposite direction going straight ahead, so he's giving way to them. Now what happens is, because this car has moved in, there is plenty of room in front of you, and also behind him there is plenty of room, but you just roll forward and come to stop behind your stop line. You roll forward to this spot, but do not get into the intersection behind that car, because sometimes this car cannot turn at green light because there are lots of cars coming from opposite direction. And sometimes if there are no cars coming, the people are walking across, so this car has stopped here. You cannot go and stop. He cannot go and stop here when there are no cars coming. For the pedestrian, he cannot come and stop here. He has to stop here. This is the center point where all the center lines meet, so he has to stop behind the center point. Now by that time the light turns orange, and these cars are coming, he cannot turn. And After 4 seconds, when the light turns red, when these cars stop going through the intersection, then he can quickly and carefully turn around. So if you had entered in the intersection behind him, you may get stuck in the red light, because after 4 seconds, the side street cars start coming out. And these side street, because they get green light. So never ever queue across the intersection. Stop behind the stop line. This is the wrong position. Stop behind the stop line by moving forward. After the light turns red, only one car can turn around. So never ever enter the intersection. Sometimes the light is green and this driver got a safe gap in the oncoming cars, because all the oncoming cars have gone through. There is no car coming from opposite direction. He has turned right. Still the light is green. You can creep over the stop line. As you're creeping over, if no car's coming and still the light is green, you can start turning too. But never ever queue across the intersection. And make sure when you have green light, if there are no cars coming from opposite direction, make sure you give way to the pedestrians and then turn. So when you have green light, you give way to the pedestrians and oncoming cars who are going straight and or turning on their left. Then only you can go. So that's what you have to take care of.